PreAP Unit 3 Retest Review. This unit was on solving equations and how to apply those skills in word problems. We're going to start with problem number 1 where we are told just to solve for x. When we are solving, a really great habit to get into is before you do anything else, check and see what can be simplified on each separate side of the equation. Right? So for right now, let's just look at this left side of the equation. What can I do here? Well, I've got parentheses, so I know that I can distribute, right? 3 times 2x is 6x, and 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. Now, there's nothing else I can do because 6x and negative 3 are not like terms, so we just have to leave them alone. On the right side of the equation, again, there's nothing I can be doing here because they're not like terms. At this point, now it's time that we can start doing stuff to both sides of our equation to solve for our variable x, okay? Personally, my personal preference is to always get rid of x on the right side, right? If this wasn't here, I feel like we would feel a lot better about solving. So we're going to get rid of that 4x first. And I'm going to do that just by subtracting, right? Because 4x minus 4x is 0, and I can cross that out. Now on the left side, make sure you subtract 4x from its like term, in this case 6x. So 6x minus 4x is 2x. I still have negative 3. Now this is equal to just 15 on the right side. Hopefully from here we're feeling more confident, right? We're trying to get x by itself, so I need 2 to go away and I need negative 3 to go away. Remember to always save the number that's touching your variable for last. So I'm going to get rid of this 3 first. And I'm going to add 3 to both sides, right? Because again, that gives me 0 and I can cross it out. Got to be fair, do exactly the same thing to the right side. So now I have 18 over there. All right, so I have 2x equals 18. Last but not least, to get rid of the 2, because 2 is multiplying the x, to get rid of it, we're going to divide by 2, right? This way, just the 2's cancels, but I still have x. On the right side, we'll divide it by 2 as well, and we're left with x is equal to 9. All right, now we are not done. We need to get in the habit of checking our answers, okay? So I'm going to plug 9 in for x on both sides to see what I get. So over here in my calculator, we're going to type it in like we see it on the paper. So 3 parentheses 2x, and I think x is 9. Again, I'm using parentheses around it, minus 1. Okay, so I did the left side of my equation, and I'm going to press enter, and I get 51. All right, now we need to plug it in on the right side. So we're going to plug in 4 times 9, right, use parentheses for x, plus 15, and hopefully I get 51. Let's see. Okay, I do. So 9 is my correct answer because when I plugged it in, the left side was equal to the right side. Okay? All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to problem 2. Okay, in problem 2, it's very similar to the first problem. We're just solving, right? But some of us get a little bit upset because of this fraction. There's nothing to simplify, so let's go ahead and jump straight to solving. Now remember, we need to get rid of 2/3 and we need to get rid of 2. Save the number touching your variable for last. So save 2/3 for last, which means I'm going to deal with this 2 right now. Well, 2 minus 2 is 0. Cross it out. 8 minus 2, let's see here, we are going to get 6 on the right side. And on the left side, we still have 2/3 in. Now, there are a variety of ways we can get rid of 2/3. I'm just going to stick with what I feel like is the easiest way, and that's using my calculator. So 2/3 is a fraction, but it's just a number. So I'm going to divide by it, right? So then I can cross out the 2/3 with the 2/3. On the right side, I have to do that as well. Now, it's very important that since we're going to use our calculator that we do it correctly. All right. You can type in 6 divided by 2/3. Now, if you type it in like this, it will be wrong. This is the wrong answer, okay? If you're going to type it in like this, you need parentheses. So 6 divided by and then 2/3 in parentheses. So your calculator knows that the 2 and the 3 belong together. And that will give you your correct answer, 9. You can also do 6 divided by And then if you press alpha y equals, it actually looks like a fraction, right? Just click enter here. And then it actually looks like the 2/3, which is great. It makes us feel a little bit more comfortable inside. But we should still get 9. Let's see here. And we do. All right, so we think the answer is 9. Just coincidentally the same as question number 1. But we're not done. We're not done until we check. So we're going to check this thing by plugging it in. Let's see here. In the left side, we've got 2/3. All right, so I'm going to do my alpha y equals, enter. I got a 2 on the top and a 3 on the bottom. 2/3 times n. Okay, well, I think n is 9 plus 2. All right, that's this left side. So when I press enter, I should get 8 because that's all there is on the right side. Let's see. I do, right? So we checked it. 2/3 times 9 plus 2 is equal to 8. Okay, moving on. Let's look at problem 3. All right, in problem 3, we are asked a question in kind of a strange way. It says, what value of x would make this equation true? Well, look at what we've been given. Guys, we're doing the same thing. We're just solving here. They just asked this kind of in a different way. All right, remember, like with the first problem, there's some things I can be doing here. I can be getting rid of the parentheses. Please remember that you are going to keep the 5 the same. You're going to bring it down, right? Nothing's happening with the 5, but there is a -1 that is getting distributed. So -1 times 2x is going to be a -2x. -1 times -3 is going to be a +3. And remember, when I do the distribution, my parentheses are gone. So I don't need to worry about writing them anymore. All right, parentheses are gone. And then we're checking, okay, is there anything else I can be doing? Well, on the left side, notice that I've got 5 and plus 3. Well, 5 plus 3 is just 8. So I should just be writing this as plus 8. Okay, equals -4. All right, now there's nothing else for me to do to simplify. So at this point, now I can start doing stuff to both sides of my equation, right? I'm going to deal with this 8 first, subtract 8 from both sides. All right, so I've got -2x is equal to -4 minus 8, which is -12. All right, next, let's get rid of this -2 using division, right? Because if I divide by -2, I can cancel out those, but leave the x. Divide by -2. So I'm getting x is equal to +6. All right, we're not done. We're not done until we check. So check this answer. Guys, keep in mind too, you're going to take a retest very similar to this. If you're checking your answers, you should absolutely know whether or not you're going to be passing that retest before you even get it graded. All right, here. My left side of the equation, we had 5 minus parentheses 2x. Now, I think x is 6, so I'm going to plug that in. And then I've got -3 close parentheses. So since this is only on the left side, on the right side, we just have -4. When I press enter, I should be getting -4, and I do. So I know that I'm right. All right, when I plugged it in, I got -4. Okay, so we know that this is the correct answer. All right, here we go. Problem number 4. Solve this equation for b. This is a really kind of a strange question, right? You have to just solve for b, and you've got a bunch of other variables. You've got capital A, you've got C, and you've got D. All right, guys, we're going to follow the same pattern that we've been doing. Remember how I say whatever we're solving for, save that variable for last? Save that for last. So we're going to not worry about this capital A just yet, and we're going to talk about this +5c. I want to get rid of it. Well, I don't know what it is, but I know if I subtract it from itself, that'll be 0, right? So we're just kind of thinking really abstractly here. I don't know what it is, but I can get rid of it. However, whatever we do to one side of the equation, we have to do to the other side. So that means I also must subtract 5c over here. And that looks really strange. Well, I still have AB equals. And on the right side, I don't know what this will add up to or subtract to, so I just get to write it all out. 6D minus 5c. Okay, finally, we're getting rid of this A right here. And we don't know what number it is, but if I divide by it, the A's cancel and the B stays, right? So I'm left with B equals, which is what I ultimately wanted. Now, if I divide the left side by a, I have to also divide the right side by a. So my final answer here is 6d minus 5c all divided by a. And this seems really complicated, you guys. You will see this again, however, next year in chemistry, so just be aware that sometimes we're required to solve equations that don't really have all numbers. All right, problem 5. What is the value of x if x comma 4 is a solution to the equation 6x minus 3y equals 6? This problem, you absolutely have to understand what information they're giving you right here, okay? They're telling you find x and x comma 4 is part of the solution. Well, they're really super sneakily telling us that this 4, since it's in the spot where y usually goes, we're supposed to use that for y in our problem. Okay, so in this equation over here where we have 6x minus 3y, no, they want us to use 4 for y. Okay, they want us to use 4 for y. That's what this meant. All right, let's clean it up. We've got 6x minus 12 equals 6. Well, now this is pretty simple, right? We've practiced solving a bunch of these already. We're going to add 12 to both sides, and I'm going to get 6x equals 18. Finally, divide by 6, and we've got x is equal to 3. Now, there's a really quick way to check these. Please don't skip this step, right? Especially when you take your retest. We've got 6x minus 3y is equal to 6. Now, I was told that the y value is 4, and I think the x value is 3. So we're going to put this in our calculator, and we're going to hope that we get 6. Here we go. 6 parentheses 3 parentheses minus 3 parentheses 4 parentheses. And when we press enter, what do we get? Okay, we get 6. So we know that we're right. Okay? All right. Flip this thing over to the back side, and let's start looking at those problems. Problem 6, solve for x. All right, in this problem, we've got a proportion, right? We've got a fraction equal to a fraction. When we do this, when we solve these, the easiest way to find x is to cross multiply. So it doesn't matter if you start with this or if you start with these, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start with these. We've got 5 times x plus 3. Now this is very important. You wanted 5 to multiply everything in this denominator. If you don't use parentheses, you will get this problem wrong. Okay? Now I also want 4 to multiply everything in this denominator, so I'm going to use parentheses, 4 times x minus 2. And you're setting these two products equal to each other. All right, at this point, you don't even need to worry about what you started with. Now you're just solving. All right, so we're going to do 5 times x is 5x, and 5 times 3 is plus 15. This is going to be equal to 4 times x, which is 4x, and 4 times negative 2, which is negative 8. There's no like terms to combine on each side, so now we got to start looking at both sides. I like to get rid of this 4x first, so let's do that. I'm going to subtract 4x on the right, subtract it on the left, and I've got 1x plus 15 is equal to negative 8. Now I'm going to get rid of this 15 using subtraction, and I've got x, right, I don't really need the 1, is equal to negative 8 minus 15, which is negative 23. All right, we're not done. We're not done until you guessed it, till we check. Here we go. So we're going to plug it into each one of our sides. All right, so we're going to do 5 over negative 23 minus 2. This should be equal to 4 over negative 23 plus 3. Let's check it in our calculator. Here we go. So we've got 5 divided by negative 23 minus 2. This is the left side of our equation, and we get negative 0.2. All right. Hopefully the right side also gives us that number. Here we go. 4 divided by, parentheses, negative 23 plus 3. Oops. Plus 3. And this time we're getting, all right, negative 0.2. Remember, if the number makes the left side equal to the right side, we know that we are correct. Problem 7, here we go. Tyra can read 3 pages of her literature book in 6 minutes. How many pages can she read in 150 minutes? And you're told use a proportion to solve. Guys, the biggest key to being successful with proportions is just to, however you set it up, be consistent. So I'm going to do pages over minutes. All right, you could have done it minutes over pages, doesn't matter. Be consistent. So I know that she can read 3 pages in 6 minutes. So how many pages can she read in 150 minutes? Well, 150 minutes, right? Minutes goes on the bottom. So we're going to put the 150 here. And I want to know how many pages. All right, now we've got a proportion. We're going to cross multiply. So I'm going to say 6 times P, 6P is equal to 150 times 3, right? 150 times 3, which we know, hopefully is 450, right? And now we've just got an equation to solve. I can divide both sides by 6. And I've got P is equal to 75. All right? Hopefully that kind of makes sense, right? Because 3 is half of 6. 75 is half of 150. All right? Just kind of another way to think about it. All right. Problem 8. Problem 8. Sally has to pay a 9% tax on her Amazon order of $159.50. Calculate the total amount due, including tax. Guys, hopefully this is a problem that makes sense to you. This is one that you'll be using in real life. Okay, so we've got $159.50 as our purchase. And we're going to add tax. So you just got to know how to calculate the tax. Well, first of all, 9%. Hopefully we know that that is 0.09 as a decimal. And so we're going to add 0.09. Now, if we leave it like this, we're essentially saying whatever she's buying, she's going to pay 9 cents tax. Guys, we know that that's not true. 9 cents is not enough tax for that big of a purchase, right? It's 9% of something. You always have to multiply that percentage times the original price again. Okay, so we've got 159.50 plus, and then whatever that tax amount ends up being. So 0.09 times 159.50. All right, so tax is $14.30, I'll round up 36 cents. First, so for my total price, we're just adding that up with our original 159.50 for a total price of $173.86. All right, we're almost there. 2 more problems. All right, No Mess Painting Company charges $300 for the first 4 hours of service. After that, the company charges $50 for each additional hour of painting. So what would the total cost be for a 10-hour job? All right, we got to break this down here. $300 for the first 4 hours. So no matter what, you're paying $300. Okay? So for $300, now that includes 4 hours of service. So if we're going to do a 10-hour job, we're going to pay more than that because we have 4 plus what is equal to 10. Okay, well that means that we're going to have 6 more hours of work to do. Sorry, 4 more hours of work to do. I wrote that backwards. 4 hours is included in the price. We're going to need 6 more hours. So plus 6 times an hourly price. Okay? Well, the hourly price they told us was $50, right? $50 for each additional hour. So we're multiplying that times 50. What's this going to cost us? Well, we've got a calculator. Let's figure it out. Here we go. 300 plus, right? That's the total for the first 4 hours. And the other 6 hours are $50 each. So 6 times 50. Our total price here is going to be $600. All right, guys, for these problems, you just need to use your logic, okay? This is something where you don't necessarily have to be able to write an equation. You just need to read the problem carefully and do your multiplication and addition correctly. All right, problem 10. Here we go. 1/3 of the difference of 3 times the number and 6 equals 8. Just read carefully and write as you read. So 1/3 of, okay, so that's times the difference of, so we're subtracting 2 things, 3 times the number, so 3x and 6, and then you read equals 8. If you could get this far, you can finish this problem, right? You can solve it. So just take your time writing the equation. We've got 1/3 times 3 1/3 times 3. Remember, you can use parentheses or you can use alpha y equals, whichever you like better. We're getting 1, so that's 1x. Then 1/3 times -6. Let's see here, 1/3 times, let's see, second entry, so times -6. And that's going to be -2. And this is equal to 8. All I got to do is get rid of the 2. And I've got 1x, or just x, right? We don't need the 1, is equal to 10. All right. Let me remind you that your retest is these same types of questions, just with different numbers. So make sure that after watching the video, you feel confident you can do these problems again by yourself. All right, no multiple choice, 10 similar questions for the retests. Good luck.